Wake up, wake up, wake up. This is your Cup of Joe podcast, and I'm your host, Joe. And like we always do, we have conversations with extraordinary people. These are people, everyday folk. We've talked to doctors, we've talked to bankers, and all these, but they're extraordinary. They are heavy hitters in what they do. And this morning is no different. I got two folk. We were just talking. Two people that I want to be like when I grow. I couldn't call anybody else as it relates to sports. They know all things sports. Now well, I know them for football, but listen, they I've seen them do it all. So we gonna talk sports. This is called Put Me In, Coach, and I got some of the best coaches that I've seen in my lifetime. Some of the best. And I have Coach Connors. You see in the JSU, the I love, yeah, you know it. And then I have Coach Thompson, Alabama State. And look, I'm gonna let them introduce themselves. I don't want to mess nothing up. These brothers are good brothers, and they are some awesome and phenomenal coaches. Like I said, we're talking Put Me In, Coach. We're gonna talk all things sports, football, whatever they want to talk about, and they can give their expertise to you all in podcast land. Like I said, we in the coffee shop, we chilling, we gonna talk. I'm gonna start with Coach Connors. I'm gonna start with Coach Connors and let him introduce himself to the people. Tell the people about yourself, Coach Connors.
My name is Dennis Connor. I'm a graduate of Central High School in 1983, and I was blessed to receive a scholarship to attend the Jackson State University, where I end up. But when I got my scholarship and went there as a true freshman, I was the 24th linebacker out of 24. Ended up working my way up and ended up starting 3 years out of the 5 that I was there. And jump fast forward, end up getting into the Hall of Fame at Jackson State. We won about three championships while I was there, and everything else is history. I done coached for the last 32 years, and now the last 2 years I've been coaching girls flag football because I had to stop coaching so I can see my daughter graduate, and which she'll be graduating this year. And I'm married. I've been married for 30 years. I have 2 sons and a daughter, and which my daughter's a senior this year, so she'll be moving on, going to Auburn. And she's a 2-time shot put indoor state champion, which that's one thing that I love. So my sports fanatic part rubbed off on her a little bit, but the main thing that I'm proud of her about is she carried a 4.5 GPA in all advanced and dual enrollment classes.
Awesome.
That's
Coach
me.
Connors, everybody. Coach Connors. We're going to give him a hand. Yes, sir. And we also have on my brother. Look, we were in the trenches together at a high school. Coach Thompson, you tell the people about yourself, Coach.
Hey, now you see, I got to go behind Coach Connor, man. Now he rocking the JSU. Look, who is SWAC, baby?
Oh,
even though I'm SIAC now, but who is SWAC, baby?
we both are.
Listen, man, I'm from Butler, Alabama, man, Choctaw County. Graduated from there in 2002. So I'm definitely a rookie in the game when it comes to great guys like Coach Connor, man. Like he's, I really look up to, guys like that. And me and Coach have had plenty of conversations over the years. But I left high school, man, went to Alabama State in 2002. I played there for 4 seasons, became a starter the last 2 seasons, won SWAC championship in 2004. And after that, I started coaching, man. I admired my college coaches so much. I wanted to be like them. And I started off at Hillcrest Evergreen High School. I went to Carver High School as an assistant. My first head job was at Pickens County High School, man. From Alabama, man. And we was able to do some great things there. And after that, I went to Carver High School, Montgomery. I was able to do some great things there, and I finally got an opportunity to make the jump to college football, man. And I love it. I love high school ball, but I just love coaching. I'm in year 16, and I'm just trying to bring it every day, man. I'm trying to get to where Coach Connor is, man. How can I get to that number? Like, how can I get to that 30 number? You know what I'm saying? And that's who I am.
I agree with Coach Connor. Keep doing what you're doing. Listen, these two men, like I say, I admire them because they're not only good coaches, they are great leaders of men. I've seen what Coach Connors has done. I've seen what Coach Thompson has done. We were in there together, just seeing how he was able to lead men. I've seen some guys be on that football field, and I'd be like, "What? Let's see what Coach gonna do with that." I don't know, but I ain't gonna say nothing. And then I'm coming back and like, Lord, they balling, they doing their thing, and it's coaches, it's good coaches that bring it out of them. So I know when I'm doing this is a little small podcast here, but man, if they could look, I mean, I'm just honored and blessed to have these two men on here. And y'all gave a little bit of your journey, but I want to get in depth with. I'm gonna start with Coach Thompson. Just tell me just a little bit more about your sports journey, maybe just a little bit that you want to add about to give the people, the viewers, just a little bit about your sports journey. I'm gonna start with Coach Thompson.
Man, I love sports, and my auntie who raised me used to always get on to me. Her and my uncle would always get on to me and say, "Man, that's all you think about. That's all you think about is going to the weight room and playing sports is more." Look, sometimes I'll joke with her now because I'm 38. I'll tell her, "Hey, still all I think about is football, right?" But, man, just playing sports growing up from the age of 5 and all the way up and in high school, playing football and baseball, off at Alabama State. I love sports, man, and it really it derived from PE, right? It derived from PE because just the level of competition, and playing and the camaraderie of the brotherhood at Alabama State, and then going on from there to starting to coach. Man, I just I love being around it. I can't imagine myself doing anything else. Like I really can't. Like, man, I still wake up with the energy every day to go out and try to make a difference, man. So that's pretty much it.
That's awesome. So how did you said, I heard you say that let's say when you got to Alabama State, when did you end up starting running back, right?
Yeah, man. Well, listen, I went into Alabama State as a running back, and for 2 years, man, it was, I guess, just like any other journey. It wasn't all peaches and cream. You have that hit the wall moment, right? Yeah. You have that hit the wall moment to where, oh, mama, do I want to transfer? Do I want to go home? Because I wasn't playing my first year, right? Mm-hmm. And then going into the spring of my junior year, man, all of the H-backs, the fullbacks now, all the H-backs, and I love these guys, Marlon Lynch and Lee Carter, man, those guys had some injuries. Mm-hmm. And it was, you look around and you say, hey, I can either be the second or third string tailback, or I can block my tail off and be the H. And that spring, man, I kind of navigated into the H-back position or the fullback position. And from there, I made my mark and didn't look back, and was able to actually make my mark there. And, all of us got that inner running back, like I need the ball 18 times, but man, just being on the field was more important to me than carrying the ball, because just being able to play the game.
Awesome. So good deal. So Coach Connors, tell me about, and I want to hear a little bit about this. You said you were the 24th of 24 linebackers, right?
Correct.
Talk about that a little bit, your journey.
When I got to Jackson State, I'm like, I think I'm in the wrong place. I was the 24th linebacker out of 24, and of course, they had the number one linebacker from the state of Arkansas. They had the number 1 and number 2 linebacker from the state of Mississippi, and then they already had some All-Americans. They had 2 or 3 number 1 draft choices that I ended up playing with. And all of a sudden, you know, I'm working. Guys start quitting, guys start leaving, and I'm continuing to move up in the depth chart. But going into my second year, the head coach was gonna cut me, and the defensive coordinator asked him not to. He's defensive coordinator, which is Big Daddy Carson, told WC Gordon, let's not cut him. I believe he's gonna end up being a good one. And so that in '85, the defensive coordinator went and learned the defense, the 4-6 defense from the Chicago Bears. And those defense that we was playing our senior year. So Leon Seals was played with the Buffalo Bills for about 10 or 12 years. He was playing the defensive end position, but he truly was a defensive tackle, but he kept going inside. So therefore he was losing containment. So therefore he said, I need to find somebody to play that. I said, hey, I'm just like coach. If that go get me on the field, I go play that defensive end, but I was a true linebacker. And so from that day forward, I started playing a stand-up defensive end. Sometime I get down, sometime I stand up, but I went back and practiced between the defensive end and the linebacker for the next 2 or 3 years. And that's when we came up with the weekend position out of the 46.
Wow. Wow. That's awesome. That's awesome. So I'm hearing, so y'all both got to see some playing time. I'm hearing is you worked, or you made the most of your opportunity, whether it was injuries or just, hey, you stayed and, hey, they say I can play this just a little bit differently, a little bit better. So I'm gonna divide. I know I sent y'all some questions, but I'm gonna ask, this wasn't on here because it's going. I'm gonna start with I'm gonna ask this to Coach Thompson, because I see that you recruit as well. You recruit high school and things of that nature. Are we as athletes today? Are we missing maybe that work factor, or if we are, how can they get it back? Do they still have that same work ethic that y'all had back in the day?
Man, I'm gonna tell you, man. I'm gonna answer that question, and I'm gonna say yes. But to us, it always seemed like we did more.
Okay.
Right? It's almost like when you go back to your middle school and say, "Man, we were bigger than this when we were here." And you see the kid so I think the answer to that question is yes, because you can still tell the ones who got it.
Yeah.
Who got that unrelentless work ethic. And I know it sounds cliche, you work, but really the consistency of it. So I'm gonna answer that question and say, yeah. But just like that, on the flip side of it, you can still tell the ones who don't have the work ethic, who be bull crapping. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So to answer that question, man, some of them got it. And I think back in the day, or in my time, and me and Coach Connor played in 2 different eras now.
Yeah.
Even back then, you can tell the ones, you got a certain percentage that got it and some that don't. So I'm gonna say, yeah, I think it's all equivalent moving forward to this generation. Some of them got it. So to answer your question, man, yes. But has it changed? Yes. But you can still tell who got it.
Okay, you said, has it changed? I'm gonna put a pin in that right there, because I'm gonna ask you how. But I'm gonna go to Coach Connor. So from your era to now, have you seen it evolve, or have you seen, talk about the work ethic and all of that?
I guess the just like Coach said, the work ethic really haven't changed, but the mindset of the player has changed, because now the mindset of the coach had to change, because once they came up, back in our time, we didn't have a 20-hour rule. When I was playing at Jackson State, we had 2-a-days the whole season. We would go to practice from 3:30 to 6:30. We will go inside. We'll end our first practice. We'll go inside. We'll take off our shoulder pads. We'll keep on our pants, because within an hour we had to be back on the field at 7:30 to 10:30 Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. So that the mindset of the coaches changed first, because it was made to be changed because they came up with the 20-hour work week. So therefore, and then all this other stuff going on with the NIL and all that, the mindset of it is making change. So, but like Coach say, you still can see them dogs, them real dogs that's out there.
So that's I guess that's the part I'm asking. Is it more dogs out there, or do you see more puppies? It's like, in the mindset.
From my standpoint, I see more puppies, and it's a blessing that I have. One of my grandsons is a 4-star recruit now, and he's one of the top recruits in the country. I think he's ranked number 9 on Rivals as the one of the best defensive backs in the country.
Mm-hmm. Well, Coach Thompson, I guess he talked about, I guess, the mindset has changed. Is that what you see, or do you see something else that maybe has changed? Is it the system have changed?
Well, kind of piggybacking on what Coach said. Look, Coach, I told you we played in 2 different generations. I was part of that generation in college when they changed that rule, the 2-a-day rule. That was in 2004, to where, and I can remember being in camp and us practicing 2-a-days in 2003. Then the next year in camp, we're all sitting around like, man, this is easy. All we got to practice is 1 time a day. Like, we can't go back to back. I can literally remember sitting in the dorm room playing Madden, saying, man, we don't have another practice. We got weights and film and stuff like that, but we practiced this morning. So this is easy. You see what I'm saying? So the other part of the generation. And I think, man, like I said, I think there's more dogs. Unpopular opinion, right? But I'm gonna tell you why, because the level of training is so much more, man. All of the position-specific training now, when you're looking for guys, the mindset, like back in the day, and I say back in the day, whenever you want to call it, right? Now that kid is position-specific now in middle school. He has a personal trainer already. He knows his steps. He knows his aiming point. He knows coverages, all of that stuff. Now, before he even gets to high school. You see what I'm saying? So I think in that aspect of it, it's more of them jokers out there now that's ready to play, if that makes sense. But also with Coach said, man, that mindset gotta be, dog mindset. And we always say dog. But I think it's more of them out there now. And that's definitely unpopular opinion, right?
So from I'm gonna stick with you, Coach Thompson. Okay. So from your recruiting standpoint, because I got another question for you, Connors, along the same line, Coach Connors, along the same line. But from a recruiting standpoint, how do you? Because I agree with you, that's something I didn't think about, but because I know some, what grade, 5th, 6th, when they start the little leagues, and I'm like, this dude. Or this dude, and I keep saying that. So what, I guess, from your recruiting standpoint, because there's so many, what are some intangibles that you look for to say, okay, this is a dog, or this person, they already think they're a star? Because you got some, reason why I'm saying, you got the guy from Miami who was in Florida. I mean, he was still getting millions of dollars.
Right.
But he said, I'm gonna do that, I ain't gonna do that. And so a lot of coaches, but then you had Nick Saban that said that he turned 5 away because they were asking about Neil money, because I understand him. You want somebody that want to play. That, to me, that messes up a mindset. This is just me, and you can, y'all are more professionals in it. So what do you look for to know, okay, this person's good on the field, but I don't know.
You just said it, intangible, because there's so many people, there's so many kids that can play, right? So, man, you look for the one that check all the boxes. And that's what we're looking for when I say check the boxes, the character, the academics, the discipline report, you know what I'm saying? All of those things is how you can kind of filter those guys, out. And you don't have to ask a kid anything, or a kid don't have to tell you anything, or anybody for that matter, because they'll show you exactly who they are, right? You don't all of a sudden start recruiting a kid and in 2 weeks you're ready to sign him, right?
Right.
Because you recruit a kid, we go out in the spring and you recruit a kid from April, his junior year, all the way through his football season, all the way through his academic fall, all the way through his spring, winter, before you say, okay, I'm gonna offer you. So in 7 months, I know exactly who you are. You ain't gotta tell me nothing.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
Yeah.
What boxes do you check? If you were kicked off the team, or you failing, or you know what I'm saying? You don't check the boxes, man. You ain't gotta tell me nothing. I know exactly who you are.
So, Coach, it's along the same line, but it's a little different question, because you see them before they get recruited for college. So what is your mindset when you're looking, I guess, to put them out on the field or to prepare them for that level? If you see a puppy and you're like, I think this he could be a dog. You know, what's your mindset from there on?
Well, and it's funny you ask, because I coached college for 10 years.
Yes, sir. I didn't know that.
I was a defensive coordinator at Stillman for 10 years.
Yeah, okay.
But so you can almost tell, even when I left college, when I left college to go start coaching high school, my mindset was, I'm gonna teach these young men the same thing I taught my college kids. So when they set foot on that campus, they're gonna be ready to play. And so once I did that, majority of all of the kids that I sent to college, they all of them played their freshman year, because they knew what a cover 2 was, they knew what a cover 3 was, they knew all the things that need to be known about whatever position that they needed to do. And so just like Coach say, as a coach, you want to develop a whole person. You want to develop the whole person, from a player all the way to being a good person, because you want this person to succeed in life. It's not the I get the joy out of not seeing kids play on Sunday, because you almost can see the 1 or 2 that gonna do that. But I get the joy out of this young man called me and say, Coach, hey, I'm starting with the police department on Monday.
Awesome.
That's some of my biggest joy.
That's awesome. That's awesome. See, now y'all see, this is just, it's almost like it's scripted, because you're going into my next question here. And I'll stick with you, Coach. Coach Connors. So how do you, first of all, tell me, I'm gonna start with you. What, as an athlete, what was your end goal? Now I'm saying that, and how do you talk to someone about maybe having a not necessarily, I hate to say a plan B, because you don't want to. I remember I'm looking at Coach Thompson, thinking about when I was at Pickens, and man, this guy literally cried in my room, because he said that and I had a meeting with his mom and everything, because I tried to talk to him about having a plan B. I had to reword that because, he was great at football. I was like, but hey, you want something, you don't want to make that just your end goal. And at the time, to me, it was a bad word, because I didn't want to, we all got dreams, and you want to feed their dreams. However, you want to know do they have another end? Do you have to have an inroad? Do they have something else that they want to do? Because he was like, man, you you dumping on my dream, for lack of a better word. He said something else, but you dumping on my dream. They used to call me coach. I don't know why. You dumping that. I'm going to play. I'm playing in the league. And I had to show him the thing about the league and all that stuff. And so I guess my point of making is, as an athlete, what was your end goal? And then, what do you tell other people? I'm asking.
Are you asking as an athlete or as a coach? What was my end goal?
I guess when you started playing, and what was your end goal? And then if you didn't reach that end goal, how did you I guess if the league was your end goal, then how did you make peace with, okay, I'm not getting to the league, but this is what I want to do to be around football, or this is what I want to do. Like the guy, league might have been his end goal, but he's like, okay, I just started a police department. Well, some people don't see that far. And then, like, how do you deal with an athlete? Well, first, what was your end goal? And then how do you deal with an athlete to maybe give them, I guess, another inroad if they don't get to the league, if you will?
Okay, I guess my end goal was just to I was a first generation college student out of my family. I was the first one to go to college. I was the first one to graduate from college. Our family knew nothing about college. My mother picked cotton, and I was born in Saul. I was born in a house, so I was the very first one. My end goal was just to, but when I realized that I can play, I was able to play at a different level. And then someone said something to me about, are you planning on going to college? And it's funny that you say that. My head coach didn't even say that to me. And it was just a person that worked in the school system, said, are you interested in going to college? And that's how I ended up at Jackson State. And so, just each thing I kind of took from the people that gave to me, and I tried to give that to my players. And the young man that I'm talking about, he tried out for he tried out for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Mm-hmm. He tried out for the XFL, and he was talking about trying back out for another league. But it was long conversations that we had. I said, I'm gonna give you about 3 or 4 years. He's gonna stay in your system about 3 or 4 years once you're done with college and done with all of that. And so he, really you set them in a path to be successful, mm-hmm. but they're gonna have to make that decision when it's time to give up football, because if you try to force it on or force them to give it up, they will always blame you. I never even forced the kid to go to a school that I wanted him to go. Mm-hmm. I will always say, hey, this is what I hear. This is where you want to choose where you want to go, because I don't have to go to practice. And so I'm not going to force you to go there. You can choose. I said, but I'm going to give you the ins and outs of why you shouldn't. And one of the kids that I talked to, I said, I don't think you should go here because. And it wasn't a year later that he was calling me back and said, Coach, I got to leave. I said, I told you, but I made one phone call and I got him to another school.
Mm. So that's why, like I said, that's why I changed the way I worded that when I'm talking with kids about, because that's still, I understand when you're an athlete. I play, but I'm a musician. When I mean, that's what I do. I keep writing songs. I keep doing this. I'm gonna keep doing it until
But also now, like Coach said, now if they don't check them boxes, now I'm the type coach. If you come in the meantime, you're going to play college football and you got a 1.9, I'm gonna tell you point blank, you ain't playing college football. Period. I don't care how you feel about it. I'm straight up coach. And that's probably one of my, that's my kryptonite, because I'm so straight up. And I was straight up with kids in college. I was straight up with kids in high school. You're not going to do anything with a 1.9.
Mm-mm.
I said, it go hand in hand. If you don't have both, you're going to be at home doing something else.
Yeah, you're right. Coach Thompson, oh my gosh. I like straight up, so I'm good with that. Coach Thompson, same question. How do you how do you handle that? Or well, what was your end goal? And then how do you use that to maybe talk to other student athletes?
Man, as a player, and I think probably anybody who will probably tell you otherwise, as a player, your end goal is to go to the league.
Mm-hmm.
And your end goal is to go to the league. That was my end goal, to go to the league. But I think as you near what may be the end or whatever, I always tell you, man, and I used to always tell my little brother this, God rest his soul, man, you shoot for the moon, because if you don't make it to the moon, you land on the stars, right? Mm-hmm. So your natural inclination of whatever it is, you encourage that kid. If kids say want to go to the league, then you encourage them and you tell them, you can do it, right? If you check them boxes, then you go for it, because you only have one chance at that.
Yeah.
And as a coach, as a high school coach, same thing, same deal. You always encourage, man. If that's your end goal, then you can do it. Because if you continue to check those, and we keep saying check those boxes, because that's the most important thing, because everybody can play. That's the Super Bowl just went on. I think when they did the math, it was out of the whole Super Bowl roster, both teams, I think it was like 2 or 4, like 2, 3 or 4 3-stars. And then it was no 5 stars, no 4 stars.
Wow.
Because it's all those are the boxes that make the difference in sports and in life. You know what I'm saying? So I'll tell them, man, you shoot for the moon and you got 2 eyes, one for the end goal and one for the journey. You see what I'm saying? So as you navigate this thing, you always shoot for whatever the end goal is. And that's a life lesson. You know what I'm saying? Whatever your inclination is, man, you go for it full speed. And then once you get to the quote unquote end, and I hate to say end, you realize, well, I stayed eligible for 4 years. Now I have this degree. Now I can go teach. I can go coach. I can start my business. I can work, that's the stars still.
Yeah, you're right.
So that's how simple it was for me.
Yeah, I like that. Look, podcast land. They be dropping bars on here. What do you say? 1 eye on the journey, 1 on the end goal. Where my organ at? That's one of them preaching things right there. Yes, sir. Listen, so man, that's some good stuff. That's why I had to rethink how I dealt with student athletes, because you can do it. That's your dream. You can do it. Let's do it. And I'm going to put you with the people. I'm going to tell you about how to get it done, how to check those boxes. So speaking of checking the boxes, I go with Coach Condon. I go back to Coach Condon. So how do you help those that you see that have that it factor, that dog, but they may be freshmen and they're starting off a little weak in one of those boxes, which is that GPA, the studies. How do you help with that? How do you help with maybe character to at least give them a shot to get to that, to reach their goals?
I had a kid. I think it was one of my. He was a linebacker, about 6'2", 6'3", and I saw where his reading skills were. Was a little liking for 11th grader, and I knew that he was going to have to go on, get ready to play college ball. So therefore, I got with his, I got with his teachers. We got together and we came up with a plan. And not only that we came up with a plan, I told him that you had to come see me each morning and you're gonna have to read the newspaper to me each morning. And so by doing that, by making him come and read the newspaper to me about 10 or 15 minutes, that was to encourage him to read more and the teacher was doing little things with him in class, and this kid ended up going on playing junior college ball, and had 5 or 6 different offers from the junior college when he left junior college. And so, that was just you tried to find you tried to convince them the number one thing that you need to do is work on your weakness. Yes, you can play football, but in order for you to strengthen yourself, strengthen you as a person, as a man, you need to work on your weakness. And once you find the weakness, it's embedded in you as a coach to make sure that the kid work on their weakness to become a better person and a better man.
Mm-hmm. That's good. Look, another bar drop. I need to start bringing me some church organs over here. You got to work on your weakness. That's some good stuff for life lessons. I put that down for me. So, Coach Thompson, because you've been coaching for a minute as well, how did you? Same question.
Man, you my eyes lit up when you said you have an incoming 9th grader that's struggling, because man, I love coaching high school football. I love coaching college football now, but I really love coaching high school football, because when you get those guys in the 9th grade, they're 14 years old, they want to play football, they're a blank slate, right?
Yeah.
They're a blank slate. And now I have this great opportunity to help mold this young man and through this great game of football, teach him all the life skills he needs, right? So if it's something that he's struggling with, you give them all the resources that they need, all the resources to help them through whatever it is, whether it's counseling, whether it's math class, whether it's tutors, whether it's the librarian, whether it's you one-on-one. You see what I'm saying? And you just give him all those resources that he needs. And then again, that kid, he'll show you exactly who he is. He'll show. He don't have to say nothing. He'll show you exactly who it is. Like Coach said, he had the kid to come in and read him the newspaper. And he said, come read me the newspaper every morning. Well, if he only made it 2 days out the week, he's showing you. He's showing you exactly who, he's showing you exactly who he is. But if he continues to come every day and you give him those resources he needs, man, it just molds him into, it's like a rocket. Man, you build this rocket and you mold this rocket, and then you can almost just let it go. And Coach know from coaching high school, man, when you get you a junior that's been with you for 2 years, it's almost no hands. Because he's been in the program, he knows everything. He thinks like you, he talk like you, I know I talk loud, but it's like a rocket. But you give him all those resources, man, and to help form him, and that helps get him through anything that he's struggling with.
That's right. Listen, that take me back to when I was in Pickens County with Coach Thompson, and them students, football players, called to me, Coach, what can I do to take this up to a B? I don't need no C. Coach said we can't get no C. I said, well, look, Some of them I gave grace to, but some of them I was like, you know what? You got to take whatever punishment Coach Thompson give you, because you done had all these opportunities. Especially when I found out, I was like, hey, I use that leverage. Hey, Coach, you're going to be doing X, Y, Z if you add this C. Now, okay, I'm gonna get to it. And when they give me that, I'm gonna get to it. Okay, I put it by file it back in the back of my head. Yeah, when it comes, because you're gonna come ask it. But I love that. I love seeing that because it motivated them in their studies. Because like I told them in the classroom, I was like, this proves that you motivated because you want to do good in the classroom, because you want to reach your goal. You want to be on the football field. You're not going to be on the football field with us. And I was like, so this should motivate you. You telling me you love football? No, you don't, because you're not putting in the work here to get out there, because you know the rules. I said, Coach can't help you with certain rules. He can't say, hey, I know he got a point, -0.9. But can you put him out there? Because people above him gonna say, no, you can't, he can't go. And so I love that about that mentality you had, because it it made them do better. It made my job easier. So thank you.
Yeah, man, right. It's a thin line, man. It's a thin line. It's a thin line between though, it sounds bad, but you really, give me that slate of guys that are eligible. And that's who you mold. Not because you can't build anything like that.
Yeah.
You just can't. Right.
So I'm gonna change gears a little bit here because I'm gonna get into the landscape. We've already, one of the questions I know I sent y'all is how the landscape had changed, and I think we scratched the surface of that a little bit. The rules have changed, and I know especially you have let's talk college a little bit, since both of y'all have you coach in college, you've coached college. How has the NIL and the transfer portal and all this, how has it changed? Is it something that I mean, I know it's here and it might be here to stay. As coaches, how do you deal? I'm gonna start with Coach Connors. And say, what do you think about the landscape of football now, especially with the NIL deal, with transfer portal and all this?
And like Coach say, even what he's doing now, if you build a relationship with those kids when you're recruiting them, 9 times out of 10 you won't have transfer. But when I used to go out and recruit, and if a kid would ask me, "Am I gonna start when I get there?" I tell him like, "No." I said, "Now how can I tell you gonna start when I've been coaching this kid and he been playing with me for the last 2 or 3 years?" I said, "Now, but if you come out here and beat him out, yes, I will let you start." I said, "But I'm not gonna tell you you're gonna start to get you to the school. Is that's the way you feel? You might want to, choose." I'm talking about, and this was Division III. I said, the only thing that I'm gonna guarantee your parents that you're gonna do is I'm gonna make sure that you get a degree." But I the only thing that I do dislike about the transfer portal, it just made kids it's easier for them just to say, "All right, I'm gonna pack my bags, I'm going to another place." But what they don't understand, the same problems are the problems that you having, you're gonna pack those up in that luggage and take them to that same place. Take them to the new place that you're going if you don't change the mindset of your own mindset.
Yes. Coach Thompson, you off in and talk about it. So how do you deal with that? And what's
that's who they are, right? That's who they are. The ones that shy away from what's hard, what's tough, and all that. Hey man, if you've been to transfer portal 2 or 3 times, that's who you are. What value can you bring to my room from a standpoint of continuity and being through something? What have you been through that's tough, and how you've gotten over it? That's who you are. And I think it's here to stay. I think it's a good deal. All right. And again, this is contrary to popular belief, right? Because it's here to stay, but it's more moving parts. It's more moving parts for a coach. And at the same time now, at the end of the day, I got to look at when you get to a place, when you get hired in a place. And coach know it used to only be college to where you get to a place and they give you 2 or 3 years to build it. And if you didn't, then you get fired. Now it's trickled all the way down to high school. Man, you have to get to a place and, you can never win enough football games. But I think it's a good standpoint from now I can help build the team right now from a standpoint of I can be competitive right now in college opposed to, just taking what you have, what high school coaches has done, for years, you know what I mean? And opposed to just saying, this is what I'm stuck with. Because, you get to 9 times out of 10, when you get to a place, if you're lucky, quote unquote, then, you inherit a really good football team. But if they've just gotten rid of a coach or going through some struggles, most of the time you're not inheriting a good football team. Maybe good players, but not a good team. Right? So that's some of the things that you can kind of navigate through to kind of have togetherness and something like that, or maybe plug a piece here. But man, the transfer portal, man, I think it goes both ways, man. I think it goes both ways. But as a Division II football coach, I love it.
Yeah, because you can get some good transfers that come in, or so. How does it work, Joe? Help me out here. So, how long do they have in the transfer portal? Like, let's say some have sat there, and then they want to go to Division II because. So, how do you look at that? Do y'all look at them?
Some of them.
Oh, I couldn't hear you then.
Yeah, some of them have tombstones already.
Uh-oh.
Right? Because, again, and I hate you can die in the transfer portal. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, man, and just in my experience, I think you can still recruit good high school football players. I know in our conference and continue to be competitive.
Yeah, that was big. That was going to kind of be my next when you said that. How has it hurt because I hear from the outside. I'm trying to hear from the quote unquote horse's mouth here from the coaches. How is it? And I'm gonna ask you, Coach Connor, how has it affected high school recruiting, the transfer portal?
I guess from where I'm looking at it, it has affected high school recruiting because those kids that don't have any stars, like I would have been one of those kids. If I would have been coming out now, I wouldn't have got to go play college football because I was one of those kids that wouldn't have had a star. But I was a late developer. I developed pretty good like my junior year in high school, then my senior year, and then it took me one or two more years, maybe one or two more years in college. But now I wouldn't have got that chance. So a lot of kids that was getting a chance to go play college football is not getting a chance to go play unless you that 5-star, 4-star, or that 3-star, or if you have a coach that gonna advocate for you. Because high school coach, you spend a lot of time on the phone saying, Coach, this kid can play. Coach, this kid can play. And then sometimes they're gonna, Coach know what I'm talking about. Sometimes coach say, hey, Coach ain't gonna send me a kid that can't play. Just once again, just like the kid I was talking about that became the police officer, he played 5 games on defense. But I was able to get him to Jackson State because the gentleman that was coaching there at the time, me and him played together. I said, look, this kid can play. I said, he only played 5 games on defense for me, but he can play. He's 6'6", about 230, 240, but he can play. And so I was able to get him there, but the kid ended up making first team all SWAC at Jackson State.
Awesome. So you said something that's key and critical. So the transfer portal, does it affect those high school Coach Connors? Does it affect those relationships you have with college coaches then? Are they more willing to hear, hey, I want to hear what you think about XYZ, or are they just looking more transfer portal now?
It's kind of depends on all what the need. Because it's the need first, and then they look to junior college, and then they look into high school. So it's like about a 3-step process now. Where in the past, it was just a two-step process:
Mhm.
junior college, high school.
So, Coach Thompson, because you're a recruiter, you out there, do you still try to keep those relationships with high schools, or I mean, does it change your process some?
Man, I think Coach Connor, Coach, I think you hit the nail on the head, man. You know, it would have been a three-step process. And you mentioned relationships earlier. Relationships are everything. Because just because I don't recruit a kid from your school this year, that don't mean I won't be back next year when we don't have a need or we do have a need in that particular position. And man, it's affected high schools tremendously. I remember leaving Pickens County, going to Carver High School, and we would sign. That was right, 2018, 2019. We would sign, signing day, we'd have 10, 11 kids on the stage. And I knew that last year in 20, that's when the COVID and the college kids got the extra year, and now it started. We had 3 guys to sign, to sign to the next level. And really, as a high school coach, then at the time, you're like, man, this is crazy. This is killing us, But now as a college coach and been on this side of the same thing Coach Sanders said, like, man, I get it. Because and that's what I always tell people now is, man, I get it. Because as a high school coach, I used to be like, man, why coach not calling me back? I'm on the phone with coach, man, why don't you take this kid? Why don't you take this kid? Now, like, I get it. Because now is you're looking at every kid in the nation. So, I get it.
I get it a little more too. So Coach Thompson, this for you. So now, how would you tell maybe a high school kid to prepare themselves a little, to make themselves a little more, for lack of a better word, marketable, or to set themselves on a path for success if their goal is to either get to or just play college football?
Man, no hiccups. Like, no hiccups. Number one, be eligible.
Mm-hmm.
You can't be on the fence of, coach, you got to take the ACT again. He might, end up with a 2 court. Man, be eligible. When you pull up the NCAA eligibility, say, this kid's going to qualify. That's number one. And that's really the biggest hiccup. Hey, kids complain, oh, nobody recruit me, man. Nobody come, coach, nobody coming to my school. Man, guys aren't doing their work.
Mm.
And I really don't have all day.
Right.
I get it now.
Uh-huh.
You see what I'm saying? So it's all about, be eligible and don't have, and can you play? Like, man, if you're eligible and you can play, then most of the time you get a shot. Now, it's hurt high school kids getting eligible, but it's made college football on Saturdays from Division I all the way down to Division III better football. Because those kids that were used to be Division I or FCS, now they're going Division II, or now they're going Division III. So it's made football better on Saturdays, but as the high school coach, man, you care about Friday nights. You need to recruit my kids, right? So it go both ways, man. It go both ways.
So I want to go back to something, and it's for Coach Connors. So I was told, and this might not be true. So I was told by someone a while back. We were talking. I was talking about them they were talking about leaving the school they were at. I think they were talking about leaving Central or something like that, going to some other school and everything. Like, this goes back to this transfer type deal. And they were like, you can do that. I said, you can't just up and leave a school, man. You can't. Yeah, and they speak of this under culture, if you will, of maybe coaches from high school recruiting other players and stacking the deck with getting, pulling from other schools and this and that and the other. First off, is that a thing? And then second, Coach Connors, how do you deal with that, keeping the kid?
I'm gonna be honest, Rich. It's really, some other coaches have a conversation with him, but the majority of it, so many of our kids now are playing on the same 7-on-7 team.
Okay.
So our kids, and this conversation I'm having with my grandson. Don't make a name for yourself, not go somewhere where it's already a name. Already a name. They already have a good team. They already have good players. But so many kids play on the same 7-on-7 team, so they say, so they'll have a conversation themselves. Say, hey man, come on down here. You can make us better. Come on down here. You can make us better. So, but Coach Thompson probably know about this rule that they have in high school now. But what they're doing in high school now, if a school will let a ninth grader in, he can come there and play junior varsity his freshman year. And really, ain't nobody gonna say nothing about nobody playing junior varsity, because it really don't matter. If he played junior varsity his freshman year and been in that school for a year, he would be eligible to play in that school, and he would have to make a bona fide move.
Okay. Because I heard of several different coaches like that switch schools and moved like all of his players to that particular school, and I think it had because they were freshmen, and so it kind of how do you, I guess, well, I think you said it, but I mean navigating that's got to be and then you got private school, because I teach at a private school, and they're not supposed to recruit, but
it's out there.
It's out there.
It's out there.
Because you got the kids that talk to the kids, and
right. Whether you recruit through a kid, through a parent, through a relative, all of the above. I didn't go on. See, even right now, my grandson has some problems at Northridge where he is. So I have no idea, but I'm leaving all that up to his mother. And I have no idea where they're gonna play at. And when it's two of them. It's two of them. I had two grandsons. Both of them started at Corner at Northridge. Yeah.
So I mean, I can. So this lead me, because this lead me to the question I was definitely gonna ask y'all. Because we talking about the kids, we talking about all this stuff. Let's talk about as just coaches, like as coaches, your life. How do y'all deal with this? Because I heard Coach Sanders say something, say either you elevated or you terminated. And I think Coach Thompson alluded to it. Okay, they're going to give you 2 years to build a program up. And so you got this, you got a transfer portal. Even in high school, you got a transfer portal within that they use. They'll use that because that's what a parent told them. Oh, you might well call this like a transfer portal. But anyway, then you got to win. You got to deal with grades. You got to deal with whether they're going to stay, whether they're going to stay out of trouble and all this. But then you got family. Then you got stuff you have to deal with. Then you have higher administration. So, I'm going to go back to Coach Thompson. So how are you able to, because you still, I mean, man, you still look good. You still look like you can really go out there and play. So how have you been handling that, man? You still look like you got the exuberance and the vigor and everything. So how have you been able to deal just as a person, coaching as a person?
Man, it's going back to like the transfer deal, man, it's definitely a thing. It's definitely a thing in high school. And as a high school coach, I couldn't even say the R word, which is recruiting. But man, I've dealt with it at little bitty, 1A Pickens County. I dealt with it, but it all goes back to what kind of program you run. It all go back to what kind of program you run. Kids aren't lined up and parents aren't lined up outside the door of bad programs. So if you're running a good program, all right, and you have an infectious relationship or an infectious personality, and you're doing great things, and you're winning football games and all of that stuff, people want to come. All right, people want to come. They ain't lined up outside the door of the school that's 1-9. I guarantee you. Now, I hate to even mention 1-9 and winning football programs because it ain't all about winning, right? But you just said it. you end up in the coaches transfer portal if you don't win.
Right?
Coaches transfer portal. But man, I still enjoy, man, I'm really enjoying every day getting up and serving and impacting kids, whether it's high school or whether it's college. Man, like I hadn't worked a day. Like I promise you, I have not worked a day because I enjoy impacting the lives of these young men. We talk about football and sometimes man, I promise you, in my room, I'll talk 30, if we're meeting for an hour, I guarantee you I'm talking 45 minutes about life and every day and what they can put in their back pocket to help them be a better student athlete and a better person. And then I say, okay, man, let's talk a little football stuff. Because if you're a better person, then you're a better player. You see what I'm saying? If you can teach a kid how to help them navigate and become a better person, and the same thing with us. Same thing with us, man. You become a better coach, and you enjoy getting up every day and just doing what you do, man. Like just enjoy doing what you do, and man, I still love it. And I'm still trying to get to that number Coach Connors at, man. One day I'm gonna get there, man. I'm telling you.
So now, Coach, like you still look good. You still look like you could go out there and do some things. Coach, how you navigating this 30? You said 32?
32, but 32
years
coaching boys, but it's a total of now it's a total of 35. Total of 35. That was with, like Coach say, number one, I married a great woman.
Awesome.
I married a great woman. Unlike now she's not a big football fan. She only came to the game because I was coaching or, her son playing in the band. Because I was blessed to be able to have my son was playing in the band at the same time I was coaching at Central. So the only thing I had to do was come out and watch him play, and then I go back inside and talk to the team, and we ready to come out on the field. I didn't have to try to do all that, but I was able to navigate that by having a good wife. She understood who she was marrying. She was a football coach, and something. Now it did get hard. Now those years that I was coaching at Stillman, we was young in our marriage, and that's when it got real hard. We almost divorced because I was grinding so hard, and that was the only thing that was on my mind was being a good coach, Because I had two jobs. I was still with the city schools. And I would leave the city schools and go to Stillman at 4:00 and be there till about 11.
Wow.
So I did that for 10 years. And that's how I was able to still have those numbers. But I'm blessed, because to be able to coach college and high school, I've never had to move. I never had to pack up and move. So I'm truly blessed. I'm still in it. I'm still coaching a little bit. I'm the AD. Right now, I'm doing the things that I enjoy. I enjoy doing. It's by like Coach said, by being a good person. And my whole thing was making sure I was trying to give kids the recipe of having and enjoying everything that I have gone through in my life. I'm trying to get them that same recipe. I was trying to get them, I told my college guys, look, some of you all are going to stay here in Tuscaloosa and get married. You're going to find your wife. And it's a little running story. I used to tell the players, I said, look, don't marry a girl just as dumb as you are. Marry you a smart girl.
Marry up. That's what I do. I married up.
And so now all of them come back and say, Coach, I see what you talking about now.
That's
I
it.
said exactly what you talking about.
Yes, it do.
And so all of them, a lot of them successful, a lot of them, some of them are principals, some of them state troopers, coaches.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are hired as coaches. They're principals. They're all over. They doing great things. I can call out and get any type of favor I want, and it's one phone call.
That's
Oh, you coach son? Oh yeah. Coach, you need this. It's one phone call.
That's awesome. That's awesome. That's awesome. By the way, Coach Connor's gonna always be clean too now. He got them suits. He got that tailored clothing. Listen, that's about that little. Hey, gonna be clean now. Gonna be clean, yes, sir. So I got man, I could look. When y'all talk, I be coming question on question on question. But I'm gonna get y'all out. I'm gonna get y'all out of here. I do have one. So. And I guess I'll go to Coach Thompson with this, and then I'll come back to you, Coach Connors. What's something then as a coach that you learn from your players? What's something that just give me an instance of maybe something that they have, you like you're coaching and coaching, but there's some, and I'm sure you learn stuff, but what's maybe something significant that you're looking at, that you learn from maybe one of your players throughout your coaching career? Start with you, Coach Thompson.
Man, 2007, I had just graduated college. I was 20 years old. I got my first coaching job, coaching high school football in Evergreen, Alabama, and I was coaching linebackers.
Yes, sir.
So, of course, I inquired with my college coaches. Hey, man, Coach Pierce, the D coordinator, Alabama State at the time, great guy, still talk to him. Man, I'm coaching linebackers. He said, whatever you need, I got you. But I had an older group of guys. John Dees, Malcolm was my will linebacker, and my Sam linebacker from Owasso, Alabama. Man, I learned so much from those guys. Being 20 years old. And these guys at the time were seniors, man, 17, 18. I learned so much from those guys with a guy like John Dees, Chip, who was the leader of the defense,
mm-hmm.
and who knew the defense already. And I was learning the defense.
Yes, sir.
And man, I'm telling you, and I still talk to those guys today, man. Malcolm's a preacher. Neil Presley, that was his name, from Owasso, my Sam linebacker. He went to the Army. He just had a kid. John Dees is, been kind of up and down. But his little brother actually now goes to Tuskegee. But man, I learned so much from those guys as a 20-year-old with how to coach, when to be firm, when to lay back, the young coach, when to camaraderie with them, when to step back. Man, I learned so much from those guys early on in my career, man. And really, I'm thankful for that group that I had. And I think they made me a better coach. And they don't even know it. Then, way back then, my first coaching job in high school, man. And just a great group of guys I learned so much from.
Awesome. Coach Connor, same question.
Like Coach say, you learn to navigate, and you learn to coach. You learn to coach the kids because sometimes you have to sit back and listen to them, because they hear all the conversation of all the other kids, and it gonna be, you can't coach all the kids the same. Some of them you can yell at, they respond. Some of them you can't. Some of them you have to pull to the side and maybe whisper in the ear. Some of them you might have to have a one-on-one conversation with to get them to do. You really, because in the midst of learning all of that, you start teaching yourself, and then you learning. Also, you learning from the other coaches that you learning of things I shouldn't do, things that I should do. And once I get to sit in this chair, once I get to sit in that. but the main thing that I learned from the kids was how bad they was hurting. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is definitely in working with the inner city schools, our kids was mad at people that look like me. Mm-hmm. They were mad at the black man because the black man had disappointed them so much. Mm-hmm. So now you trying to coach this kid that his dad said he was going to come by and never came by. Mm-hmm. So now he's looking at you just like he looked at his dad. And so now how you going to convince him that you're a better person than his dad? But you have to, because you always got to be honest. Anything that you say you're going to do, you got to do it. Mm-hmm. Because if not, the kid's going to put you in the same category that they put anyone in that hurt them. Mm-hmm. And those are the things that we have to navigate through as a black coach and as a black man, of getting them, convincing them that we are for them. We love them. A lot of them never been told that they were loved. Coach, why you telling me, man, Coach, I ain't gay? And I said, I'm not either. I said, but I love you. And once you do that, and once they start believing that, oh, you got your football player.
Awesome. Man, that's awesome. Listen, so I hear my virtual coffee maker going off. It's a dozen more questions, so I might have to get y'all again. and I know some people. I ain't gonna say I hope anybody learned anything from this, because I know they have. This is some great just life skill. I do want to ask you this final question. So for other coaches, I think it was Coach Thompson that put up, I don't want to quote it wrong, on Facebook about something to the effect of, hey, we're, about developing as a coach. Sometimes you have to go the long way or a different path or something to that nature. Do you find, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. Is there this I'll say it. So going to different different I guess different fields, when you're going from high school to college, and then different levels, I get, if you will, in college. Do you find it a steep learning curve that, okay, if some people just kind of think they can kind of jump in that, they jump in and they're like, oh my gosh, there's some stuff that I miss that, I might needed to in other words, do you think it's more advantageous to go that long way, to maybe go coordinator this, instead of maybe jumping in it straight as a coach? Would you recommend that if someone can coach and get the offer to coach at a high level, but may not necessarily be ready, would you, is it a steep learning curve? Or is this, hey, go get that money, man? Or what do you think? I'm gonna start with Coach Thompson, if you understand what I'm saying. If not, I can elaborate.
I think I know where you're going. I think I know exactly where you're going. And I think once you get to this level, when you're talking about experience, and there's a book by Robert Greene called Mastery, man, to where it says it takes 10,000 hours to become a master at something, whatever it is. It could be shooting bow and arrows. The long haul, or the quote unquote journey, for me, is, I think, is best. What you have now, and this term is called artificial maturity. It's a Greek term called Yoda and Gnoskou. Gnoskou is learning something through reading or watching YouTube or no experience. And I feel like I know it, but it's artificial maturity, opposed to Yoda, which is learning through experience. Man, there's still workers out there who has gone the long haul, right? Who has gone the long haul, who, in my little opinion, who I think will be so much better off because of the journey that they've went through. If you were on a plane, would you want the pilot who read about it, or would you want the pilot who learned through experience?
Yeah, I want the one who learned through experience.
You know what I'm saying? Like so to me, it's a no-brainer, man. The long haul, and you just take it in stride. Whatever it is, man, you just take it in stride. I think at this level, guys know football. The terminology may change, and I know you know what I'm saying, but it's still 11 players, offense and defense. But man, learning through experience is just something that just you can't expedite, and you're so much better off, in my opinion, when you've been through quote unquote the fire. That's just my opinion. Now, some people may think otherwise. Some people like the celebrities. That line gonna run out, and them workers gonna be right there waiting.
Yeah. Yeah. Coach Connors, I'm gonna pass it to you. What you think?
Hey, I totally agree with Coach. I totally agree with Coach on that, because the long haul is a whole lot better. Even some bumps in the road is a whole lot better, because once you get to that spot, and once you get to that place, you're gonna appreciate it you're gonna appreciate it even much more. And you tend once you take the long haul, you tend to want to teach someone else. Hey, you tend to want to teach another coach how to do this. But if I didn't saw a lot, I don't know about coach. I just saw a lot of coaches tried to bypass the process.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't coach some of them trying to bypass the process, and I didn't have to tell a couple of them, "Hey man, you ain't gonna get past the process.
Yeah,
you're not gonna get past the process. What makes you any different than I had to wait my 20 years before I came to head coach?"
Mm-hmm.
I said, "I'm not killing your dreams." I said, "But it's a process, because if you don't go through that process, you're gonna make some mistakes."
Yeah.
And they tend to make the mistakes when they don't go through that process.
Yeah.
Because you have to know how to deal with your principal. You have to know how to deal with your athletic director if you coach in college. You have to you have to know how to deal with everybody that's above you. You can't, when someone tell you something that you don't like, you can't fly off at the handle.
Mm-hmm.
You have to figure out another way to do it, but still get the same thing done. Young men don't understand that. Old men do. Old men do. Because guess what? Because your wife gonna tell you a whole lot of times that what you can't do. You figure out another way to do
it. Amen. I'd have been there 20 plus years right here to tell you. Yeah. And I think that speaks to, because you got other people watching, and that's I totally agree, because you got young men watching. And so to me it's hard, especially with this generation. They're not gonna be more so, they're gonna be more so do what is the term they used to tell me? Do as I say, not as I do. So this is not a do as I say generation. This is a do as I do. And if they know you're gonna fly off the handle at someone that's an authority over you, guess what they're gonna do to you? I mean, I've seen that. That if they can't, you're telling them to get it done out on the field, find a way to get it done. But then as a coach, you can't. But I believe they have coaches like y'all that have the years in over them going, then I believe that they wouldn't have, they skipped that process. Seeing a few of them skip the process and not come under a coaching tree. I believe in what you call coaching trees and coming up under somebody, because it's almost like a preacher. I'm a preacher. It's almost like a preacher. That's the first thing they ask me, who your pastor? Because they want to see who I to learn from. Right now we got to do the same, to me, in my opinion, with coaches. Who who your coach at tree? Like, I know some people that come up under y'all tree that say, man, yeah, I had a coach under Coach Connors. I had a coach under Coach Thompson, and I see the fruit of it, and it's a beautiful thing. Whereas I've seen some, I'm like, who your man? Yeah, I done been here, been there, and all that stuff, and it's a little frustrating. And I don't want to I'll go into a whole nother subject. I'm gonna get y'all fellas out the coffee shop. Listen, I want to thank y'all again for your time. Y'all drop some gems, drop a whole lot of information. And I wanted this Black History Month, man. I wanted, because most of our leagues are like 80 something, I don't know, even up into the 90% African-American men. And I believe that African-American coaches are more than well equipped to handle these the issues that come up with African-American men the best. And these coaches here, they have given some of y'all a little blueprint of it. Now, which unfortunately some may skip the process, because if they were taking notes from it might get them through a bunch of interviews. But we pray that they take the long way like you all did, so they can have some of that experience, that Yoda. And not what was the other one?
Janasku.
What was that again?
Janasku.
We don't need a lot of that. We need some Yoda. And I thank you again for joining us in the coffee shop. Put me in, coach. It's been a joy. Look, I'm an undercover athlete. I played in high school, but when I saw them pads flying up in college, I went to Southern Miss. I said, you know what? I'm going to the choir room. That's where I'm going, because they hit a little too hard of it.
It's one thing I want to say before you leave.
Yes, sir.
It's this old quote I came up with. I used to tell my kids, it's not your fault you where you are today, but it's your fault if you decide to stay.
That's gay. Look, the doors of the church. Yeah. The doors of the church. Say that one more time.
It's not your fault you where you are today, but it's your fault if you decide to stay.
Listen, that's it right there. Look, Coach Connors, everybody. Coach Thompson, everybody. We appreciate you again. Thank you all for joining us in the coffee shop. Listen, I'm gonna contact them, get them back. I know they got a whole lot more. We're gonna see where the journey goes some more a little bit later on. So, but till then, I'm Joseph Moore. This is Coach Connors, Coach Thompson. Appreciate you all again, and we will see you all later.